We wanted to make a game by Indians for Indians.
तो इंडिया में बैठ के इंडियन गेम बनाने का मजा ही कुछ और है. And I'm making the solely of gaming industry.
So the cake is in the oven. It's getting ready. Hi everyone. I'm Mayur. I am studio head at Hypernova Interactive.
Yeah, hi. This is Kapil Verma. I'm working in Hypernova as an animation supervisor.
Hi, I'm Huzaif Arab. I'm creative director and co-founder at Hypernova Interactive.
Hey guys, I'm Taman. I'm a game designer at Hypernova Interactive and you're watching me on
Games Made in India
by IGN India. So Hypernova Interactive is a creative powerhouse of a game studio. We've been developing games since the last 8 years. We were founded in middle of 2015. We've developed over 50 different games for ourselves and with the partners that we've worked with. And for the past 3 years, we've been working on Mayanagari, which is our most ambitious project so far. We had a 3-day long argument between me and my co-founder on what exactly the game needs to be. It was born out of a hackathon that we were hosting internally, where initially the idea was to build a game similar to a 2D GTA style game called Shakedown Hawaii. But after we did some more research about the Indian market, we realized यार लोगों के लिए 3D से कम तो कुछ चलेगा नहीं. That's how we decided to build Mayanagari.
What we realized was when we saw movies like Gangs of Wasseypur or even series like Mirzapur, क्या होता है एक हिंदी का जो फील आता है एक ऐसे शो में, वो बहुत रॉ तरीके से कैप्चर होता है ऑन एन OTT प्लेटफॉर्म, बट इन सिनेमाज इट्स हार्ड टू कैप्चर बिकॉज ऑफ द सेंसर बोर्ड एंड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. So what we realized was, what if someone made a game like that in an Indian setting with Indian characters, with Indian stories, and that's kind of where our major inspiration came from. We also looked at a lot of other games like, say for example, Sleeping Dogs is a very major inspiration. Watch Dogs is another inspiration.
For every 100 rupees made in India in the games industry, 85 rupees get made on mobile. The remaining 15 is split between consoles and PC evenly. So we had to go where the people are, and people are used to playing free games on mobile. There have been massive successes like Free Fire, PUBG in the last few years that have shown the way and really made the Indian gamer mature in terms of not just engaging with the title, talking about it, creating content, but also eventually paying money for items inside of the game, because only when people pay money for your games will studio be a viable business. So that's what our thought process was, where we wanted to make a game by Indians for Indians. It's the first of its kind in Hindi. So we had to go where the players are, so it was no-brainer for us.
तो why I love Mayanagari is like सब कुछ इंडियन है, ठीक है. दिस इज मतलब अपने दिल के करीब है गेम. तो इंडिया में बैठ के इंडियन गेम बनाने का मज़ा ही कुछ और है. लाइक अपने देश में अपनी गेम बना रहे हैं, मज़ा आ रहा है.
As far as Mayanagari being called the Indian GTA, I mean, there's no denying the fact that we are inspired by the GTA series in terms of the gameplay, the content, and the way the game plays out. But I don't think GTA has the claim on that genre anymore. There are a lot of great other titles coming out in the genre, and we might as well be called Yakuza of India or even Sleeping Dogs of India for that matter. So I think it's a great genre, and when you're trying to go contemporary, I mean, you could call Witcher as the GTA in a medieval fantasy world, because the kind of things you can do. So what really is a GTA game, right? Like, it's a game where you have a lot of freedom to do a lot of things, and that's what we are trying to capture in this game.
We really believe the only way you can do that is by actually using those kind of devices on a day-to-day basis. So we went ahead and we bought a bunch of those low-end devices and gave it to the team. So every time we would not test it on a OnePlus or a Samsung S21. We would go ahead and test it on a smaller device, and that's really the idea of making sure that the game runs. Of course, in development, the game is always heavier and it's later optimized further. But at the moment, we believe we are in a very good place of making sure that the game will run smoothly on most of the mid to low end phones at launch.
Okay, so this is an interesting thing because we started with a very small map. We were like, okay, it takes 30 seconds to go from one end to the other, but eventually we started growing. We realized India has so many diverse areas. So right now we are on a 5 kilometer square map. So players can expect to travel quite a bit and see a lot of different areas of India on this map. So if you want the direct stats, it's 5 kilometers square.
As to how we'll monetize, it's going to be a free-to-play game. We eventually have plans of coming cross-platform, but the core target market is India, and the core platform is mobile. So the idea will be that we want to rely on people supporting us through microtransactions, where once the game has features that people like and they want more of, they will pay us more for it. And that's kind of how the whole game is. But the game will be free to download and free to play as much as they like.
When it's ready. We are trying very hard. We don't want to put something out there that's unfinished because we've seen multiple examples in the games industry where a product or a game has been hyped to a very large scale, but it fails to deliver, and people have their expectations foiled. So we just want to make sure we do justice to the game before it comes out. So basically, the minimum viable product methodology works in software, but doesn't work in game development, and especially when you're building a large IP like Mayanagari. For Mayanagari, we follow a production methodology called the cake methodology. What that means is either the cake is good or the cake is not good. There's no half-baked cake that you can put out in the market, right? So the cake is in the oven, it's getting ready. As soon as it's ready, we'll put a cherry on top and present it in front of you.
The game will be available on iOS and Android at the same time at launch. We have a lot of interest from both Google and Apple to support the game on both the platforms. So we see absolutely no reason why we shouldn't support both of them at the same time. So we do have plans of dubbing the game in more languages, and the game will also have subtitles in many more languages. So I believe the game can be enjoyed by not just Indians but also people and fans outside of the country.
Like making an open world game is fun actually. So there are a lot of things, especially in animation, like we'll get to do everything, whatever we do in our real life, like pan wale ki dukaan pe jaake pan khana, or we have to think of every damn thing a person do in his real life. ठीक है, like किसी को कैसे पीटना है, गली मोहल्ले में कैसे लड़ाई होती है, like how people fight, ठीक है, और like the swear words they use in real life, we can add anything we want. तो open world game में काम करने का best part ये है कि we get to make the entire world. ठीक है, कि अपन कौन कौन सी गाड़ी डालेंगे, like how the car should work, like what type of bikes we can add, or like किस किस से क्या क्या लड़ाई करवाएंगे, what type of fighters we have, what type of fighting styles we can add. Like we have entire world to build. ठीक है, जो दिल में आए वो करो. Like that is the best part to work in an open world game.
All right. I think the simplest pitch for a game like Mayanagari is me asking you a question. What do you think India would be without Bollywood? It's hard to imagine that, right? So that's kind of the state of the Indian game industry right now. We don't even have our Sholay. And I'm making the Sholay of gaming industry.
Okay, you've definitely heard of our co-founder Huzefa. Very calm, very chill person, but you bring in Dota in front of him. He's for context, we had a office tournament for Dota. He spent the last 3 weeks researching. He hadn't played Dota in a while. He spent 3 weeks researching, then organized a team, then got everyone on board, and then the tournament didn't happen. So we were all kind of laughing at it in the end. But yeah, that's just it. Joseph was a very competitive person. But very fun to see.
So I think as a company, we are fairly sorted on the talent side. But I think capital's been our major issue, which is where we were very fortunate in the last couple of years that we were able to raise some money with some great investors.
Motion capture is basically capturing the performance of the actors, fighters, performers, and stunt guys. Put those animations like in the game exactly the way we planned, or exactly it looks in real life. So that's what motion capture is.
Snappy physics would be the right word to describe it, but let's say you take a turn, you can take a turn right there at a 90-degree and not drift away. And that is something the design team decides that, hey, like this is the feel we want for the game. These are the reference games. These are the cars we want. Then we go through the entire list of Indian cars. We went through the sales numbers of all the Indian cars. Then we're like, okay, what are the cars people love? The Omnis, the Tata Sumos of the world. So then we decide, okay, these cars need to feel like this. Then we write a design document on, okay, now the car is this, we need to have an accelerate, brake, when you press right, how much can it turn? So it's very small details. And then the development team gives us a mock-up of, hey, this is a base functioning car. You can tune your tire grips, your handling, your acceleration, your speed. So all that stuff we get, and then it's a matter of just play testing, seeing what the people love. So we've had events where we've asked people, hey, what do you feel about the driving? So it's heavily community and play test driven.
So एनिमेशन प्रोसेस का ऐसा है कि पहले कास्टिंग की जाती है, ठीक है। कास्टिंग के बाद हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि हम लोग लिस्ट बनाते हैं कि हमारी एनिमेशंस क्या हैं। उसके बेस पे हम लोग शूट करते हैं। जो भी एक्टर्स या फाइटर्स हमने कास्ट किए हैं उनसे परफॉर्मेंस करवाते हैं, उस परफॉर्मेंस को कैप्चर करते हैं। उसके बाद कैप्चर करने के बाद पार्ट आता है कि एनिमेशंस को गेम में डालना है। सो एनिमेशन को गेम रेडी बनाने के लिए क्लीनअप का काम करना पड़ता है। क्लीनअप करने से लाइक हमें पता चलता है कि क्या स्पीड होनी चाहिए एनिमेशंस की एंड हाउ इट विल लुक इन द गेम। सो आफ्टर दैट इम्प्लीमेंटेशन ऑफ एनिमेशन ऑल्सो इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ एनिमेशन प्रोसेस बेसिकली। सो हमें मेक श्योर करना पड़ता है कि गेम के अंदर एनिमेशन वैसी ही दिख रही है द वे वी प्लान एक्चुअली। सो या दिस इज़ द एनिमेशन प्रोसेस वी फॉलो हियर।
So back in the day, discoverability was easy, game development was hard. Now game development is relatively easy, discoverability is very hard. So if you're making something, just make it. Your first 6-7 games are going to be absolute garbage. You have to live with that. My games were also absolute garbage. And that's the process, and that's the nature of game development, because games are possibly the most complex piece of software that you can build. So that's what I tell people, that if you think software development is difficult, please come try your hand at game development. And the only way to get better at it is make more games. So don't hesitate, build your first game.
Don't get overwhelmed by the multitude of games on the market, because it is a saturated market. Just figure out what kind of games you love, what kind of games you want to make, and just start making mock-ups and showing it to people, because once you get that positive reinforcement that people do love the stuff you're making, that's when you get your motivation to design stuff as well. So definitely one advice is just don't get overwhelmed, look at what you want to do and just start working on it. Use YouTube, there's a load of courses. So just start working on it and don't think you need a degree to actually just get into the industry, because there are a lot of people who will help.
If you love this video, go pre-register for Mayanagari on your Play Store right now.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode about Mayanagari.
मायानगरी पे अगर ये वीडियो अच्छा लगा तो इसको लाइक करना।
Share and subscribe.